So a few months back, HBOM released a video titled "How fast can you complete a map with a brand new account?" It was a really good video and delved into some of the basic aspects of BTD6 speedrunning. And if you haven't already checked it out already, you should probably go check that out like right now. Being a speedrunner of the game myself and even getting a sweet little mention, I was happy to just let everything slide. And that was until I read the comment section. Yeah, we're doing this. So I booted up BTD6, made a brand new account and prepared myself to beat a black border as quickly as possible, for limit testing purposes. Booting up the game, we start the timer upon hitting play for the first time. After clearing the first part of the tutorial, we exit out after round 5, our first major time save over HBOM's original run. We immediately head over to Candy Falls, another massive change of the original plan. One major problem with the plan of HBOM was to use Monkey Meadow. Monkey Meadow was one of the most iconic balloons maps, but it's certainly not the fastest, due to the initial trees blocking line of sight, causing the runs on average to be about 20 seconds slower in later categories. So we certainly don't want to do that. We enter Candy Falls on easy, place down Quincy and immediately start working towards gaining experience on our important towers. The cannon and tack shooter, both critical for the later stages of the run. We managed to unlock all the primary towers and work on getting a large amount of sniper XP rather quickly. Sniper is the ability to kill balloons off screen and is one of the fastest methods used to save frames, working well even without all the upgrades. We managed to get enough XP for a MOAB Mauler, a ton of sniper upgrades, and shot our first MOAB with relative ease. Next up is primary only and shares a similar story as easy mode, using this as a great way to farm up a ton of boomerang experience for down the line. We have to skip over deflation due to lack of upgrades on our critical towers, opting to go for more medium modes instead. Here we unlock our go fast tool, the Druid. Most importantly, the Druid of the Jungle, granting us the ability to not only have an active hitbox near the start of the screen, which is great for saving time, but also grabbing ceramics out of MOABs, allowing for incredibly fast rounds. We also use this time to grab some sub XP, which is a notable difference to HBOM's strategy, because he couldn't use them. Subs not only give access to incredibly cheap and efficient popping power, but they also allow for the powerful first strike ability, allowing us to clear a certain big balloon with relative ease. Knowing this, we spam out a bunch of airburst darts, Druids of the Jungle, and newly acquired wizards to take down medium. Onto military only, and it's once again the sniper and sub show, clearing off everything with just those two powerful towers. At this point, we've acquired plenty of experience for our main players, so we loop back to deflation to clear off the last of the easy maps. We get 2 armor-piercing dart subs and a ballistic missile with the intent of using the rest of the money to gather XP on towers like the Village and Alchemist, both of which had none at this time. Unfortunately, hindsight is 20/20, and looking back on it, we definitely needed some more damage to clear off the MOABs, as it certainly began to struggle in the 50s, costing us a few crucial seconds. Nonetheless, we still managed to clear off all the easy modes with a time of 34 minutes and 30 seconds, which, while certainly not slow, was not particularly fast either. Still, we pushed on to face reverse, which we could now start to unleash some of our most powerful speedrun tools at our disposal. We started with Quincy, but found our way into a wizard with the plan of going into a wall of fire. With all the wizard XP we'd managed to save up, we could start to now afford a necromancer, which we could send zombie balloons off screen to destroy the balloons nearly immediately. We first had to make it there, but for that we have our old friend the Druid of the Jungle to come in and clean up the scraps before purchasing the necromancer, combining it with 2 MOAB Maulers for a balloon shredding effect that hasn't been around since BTD5. All that was left was to clear up the late rounds, so we comfortably afforded 2 farms to gather up some XP, some MOAB assassins, and another necromancer, and cleared it off with ease. Last on the medium checklist is Apocalypse, and potentially the scariest game mode of the bunch. Apocalypse round length is completely random, and there's nothing that you can do to speed up how quickly the rounds are sent. The only round that matters is round 60, which causes the mode to end. All you can do is hope that you've sent rapid and difficult rounds continuously, all while holding it off, which unfortunately for me, was not the case in this run. An incredibly slow start meant that the game mode that could be completed in less than 6 minutes was instead taking up to almost 9.5 minutes, which in a regular speedrun would completely kill the run. Thankfully, we were only 6 minutes behind a regular world record pace to run, and considering everything else that we've had to go through on top of a regular speedrun, I'd say that this time is incredibly good for what it is. It's time for the final stretch of the run here, going into the hard modes. Even with Gwendolyn unlocked, we're still sticking to Quincy for a relatively safe start and consistency throughout the entire run. As long as it saves up to a Druid of the Jungle, we're all good. Speaking of which, we grab a Druid of the Jungle, save up into a Necromancer, grab a MOAB Assassin, and smash through the first MOAB. Now it's time for some serious farming with the main goal of affording a Prince of Darkness for the last few rounds. First, we add some extra druids, an assassin, a recursive cluster for 63, and a casual boomerang thrown in there for some XP. All the farms get sold off and we're at the end game. Prince of Darkness is one of the fastest towers for speedrunning and ensures that all the rounds up to 80 are cleared incredibly quickly. On 80, 3 turbochargers combined with all the abilities ensure a very fast kill. Next up is Magic Monkeys only, and I don't think you'll be surprised to hear that I had one goal in mind, and that being the Druid of the Jungle. Yes, the infamous tower once again graces the doorstep of Candy Falls, combined with the Necromancer smashing out the early game once again. A ninja is thrown in for, reasons? I honestly don't even remember at this point. Probably to farm XP for it. Not that there was any use for it, but hey, once again we sell off our main towers, afford a Prince of Darkness, and chuck in a few druids for good measure. Since we've already hit our main XP targets in Magic Monkeys, we can afford to mess around just a little bit. Double HP MOAB is up next, and we've got the exact same start. Quincy, Dart, Druid, Wizard, with a farm thrown in for extra money. The build differs a little bit at this point for 2 reasons. 1, double HP MOABs crack the defense that we've already set up, so we just can't save for Prince of Darkness, and 2, I've only just realized 1 hour and 26 minutes into the run that I have not gotten a single bit of Engineer XP, which I need to use in about 30 minutes or so. Looks like we're going to have to alter the plan and pray that it doesn't get altered any further. First we grab a Monkey Town, next we spam out some Engineers, and lastly we buy up some subs for some First Strike experience. By the end of double HP, we sell off all our farms, buy a Prince of Darkness, and First Strike down the ZOMG. Only lose 10 seconds to the collection event pop-ups. That's just bad RNG. Now it's time for the hardest part of this run, half cash. Without the important monkey knowledge points, any sort of strategy becomes a lot harder to pull off. We only have one half decent option, and that's to start with a single Dart Monkey. Round 4 feels like it takes forever, but we hold the L, sell the Dart Monkey, and grab a sub, as well as opting to buy another sub for an incredibly efficient defense. We save up for Quincy, grab twin guns as well as a 100 sniper to help deal with the lead balloons. Next big goal is to save up for airburst darts because of their incredible efficiency. Chuck a Berserker Brew on that and you've got a solid combo up to 40 where we upgrade to triple guns. From there we grab our strongest stimulant and work our way up to Recursive Cluster to consolidate our damage. It's smooth sailing from here, so we grab another sub, a primary training village, and a Druid of the Jungle and finish up an underwhelming half cash. On to alternate balloons rounds, and this is where the first major misplay of the run happens. We're using Quincy as the best replacement to Sout, but Quincy doesn't get access to camo detection until level 5, which we are very far away from. It's not all too painful until we hit round 5, which is filled with slow camo red balloons that take forever to reach the exit, costing us a massive amount of time. Surely, it can't get worse, right? Spoiler alert, it did get worse. It actually happened again on round 7. Thankfully, we purchased camo on our sniper and stemmed the bleeding, but we've lost almost a minute just from a simple mistake like that. It's easy to lose a lot of time if you're not careful. Continuing on, a sniper is all well and good, but we need more reliable camo defense, so we purchase an advanced intel sub and grab airburst darts, buffing it up with the Berserker Brew to round it out. We're finally stabilized, so it's back to the regular game plan once more, grabbing a Necromancer but still struggling heavily against the MOAB. Operation Engineer is once again afoot, as we have 2 important upgrades we need to afford by the end of this game mode, Balloon Trap and Overclock. We first show up our MOAB defense with armor-piercing darts before spamming out Engineers in a hope to muster up enough experience to afford both, but it's looking slim. Upon the realization that it's incredibly unlikely to be afforded, I make the decision to purchase Overclock with the experience as it's far more important, affecting both Unpoppable and CHIMPS, whereas the Balloon Trap would only affect Unpoppable. Still, it doesn't stop me from trying to muster up as much as possible with more Engineers. And you know what? We actually managed to get enough experience for Balloon Trap in the end. I just didn't actually end up purchasing the upgrade. Whoops. To make up for that, I sell off a few Engineers, grab a few more turbochargers as we are needing some more Boomerang XP to finish up the run and use that to tackle the last few ZOMGs. Now we've got the 2 longest game modes left, Unpoppable and CHIMPS. Due to the mid-game power of Quincy being, bad, we swap off to Oben. With increased prices, we can't afford Oben off the bat, so we instead opt for a Dart and a sub to get things moving, selling off our Dart later and buying up Oben for round 10. Luckily, Oben has a small bonus, and that's buffing up Druids, so we get a Druid of the Jungle to take advantage of the buff. A Necromancer is usually up next, but with the increased prices affecting our timings, so much that we need to grab a farm to help out. Now we grab an Overdrive for the next step of the master plan, which is killing the MOAB. So we sell our farm, kill the MOAB, and grab our Necromancer. Now it's time for the great farm gathering. So we plop a few marketplaces down, muster out 4 druids and sit back to farm, all the while placing open druids up front. Once more, we grab a Prince of Darkness, now placing a boomerang down and unlocking the final piece of the puzzle, Permacharge. All according to plan. Permacharge isn't our first priority though. We first need to grab a tack zone for some extra MOAB damage, after which we add a Permacharge to our arsenal. From there, we grab an overclock, unlock a call to arms, and just spend whatever money we have left to first strike the bad down. Time to finish up the run with CHIMPS. This is the game mode we have the most advantage in with the lack of monkey knowledge and all. However, the most notable downside comes from our hero selection or lack thereof. Quincy does a decent Satyr impression, but in reality lacks the early game clear speed that Satyr has access to. So instead we opt once more for Oben. So we start off with a dart and a sub, plop Oben down and work our way through the tack upgrade parts. One slight issue we ended up facing was that Oben was placed too far back from the start of the track, not allowing us to place down his wall of trees at the start, costing us a little bit of time. A wall of fire gets placed down and we make the decision to ignore buying a Berserker Brew right away for the overdrive, ensuring that both important tier 4 upgrades are purchased in time. With round 40 cleared, it's a pretty simple affair. We grab our Berserker Brew, we put off and save all the way up to Prince for the last time. Then grab a village, affording all the way up to tack zone now. Lastly, we get a Permacharge, and then this happens. I don't have embrittlement! I forgot the embrittlement! I completely forgot to get ass experience throughout all of this. Bit of a mistake, but it's not the end of the world. It does throw my original plan off that I had, which included buying up an embrittlement, skipping over the shattering shells that we would usually get in favor of some more overdrives. Now with an excess of money, I decided to skip over the planned overclock we would get as well, instead opting for a call to arms to buff up everything for the duration. I also start to recognize that the defense isn't holding as well as we thought, due to, well, lacking certain upgrade parts. So I make the decision to put the trees in the back to make sure it would catch any potential leaks without absorbing more than they need to. Turns out this came in clutch for round 97, where we would have ended up leaking and losing a ton of time. Come round 98, we call to arms, hold out on 99 and perfectly time the first strike for round 100 and finish the run. Final time ended up being 2 hours, 26 minutes and 44 seconds. Almost 10 minutes faster than HPUM's original time. This time was pretty decent, though it definitely could have been a lot better if we had a few more minutes cut off it, with cleaner experience usage, better decision making on some of the hard maps, and most importantly, just getting luckier on Apocalypse. It's always fun doing some Black Border speedrunning, so if you're interested in taking part, head over to speedrun.com to check out how to get started. There's plenty of resources there to help you on your speedrunning journey. Lastly, if you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe and comment down below, telling me which other YouTubes I should start petty beef with. As always, have yourself a great day, and I'll catch you all next time.